So what Pater, I think, is trying to do here is I think what he wants to do is just say, enjoy lots of paintings and don't let people tell you what's good and bad, and don't get stuck in your own bad habits where you think a certain kind of painting is always bad. But what he actually is saying, like the actual words on the page, lead to Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter. Because Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter is, one of the, think about Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter for a minute, if you know this character. He kills people and eats them, but he also likes fancy paintings and fancy music. And so, like, he's like Pater, he's chasing after interesting new ideas and new sensations that include eating people. Pater has really, his whole idea that there's nothing stable in the outside world and there's nothing stable in here, and so you shouldn't follow any rules and you should just hop from beautiful thing to beautiful thing, has an element in it that is extremely dangerous. Now, in the next paragraph, or it looks like one paragraph, but it should be two, he's going to try to kind of rein that in and control it a little bit, but it's not really going to work. But he has a point, and he's headed to it. Okay. He says philosophical theories or ideas, as points of view, instruments of criticism, may help us gather what might otherwise pass unregarded by us. Philosophy is the microscope of thought, right? So think about the philosophers we read this semester. If a philosophy that we read helps you notice things, that's a good philosophy. But he says there's another kind of philosophy, and I think he means religion. The theory or idea or system which requires of us the sacrifice of any part of this experience in consideration of some interest into which we cannot enter, or some abstract theory we have not identified with ourselves, or of what is only conventional, has no real claim upon us. That's where the paragraph ends. He says any abstract system that denies you some part of experience has no claim upon you. Hello, like religion puts claims upon you, like don't murder people. But also, like, think about Jewish and Muslim religions. They don't eat pork. That is denying experience to people. And Pater is saying, don't listen to them. You got to eat pigs. They're delicious. Bacon's great. Like this is an incredibly dangerous idea because he's telling you don't follow rules by anybody. They have no validity and no point and no purpose. So then we get to the last paragraph. I know you can't tell it's a paragraph, but the last paragraph starts here with one. So this is his conclusion. He has a big conclusion. He says, one of the most beautiful passages in Rousseau is that in the sixth book of the Confessions, where he describes the awakening in him of the literary sense. This is where he tries to kind of rein himself in and come to a point. An undefinable taint of death had always clung about him, and now in early manhood he believed himself smitten by a mortal disease. So it just means he read a book where a character thought he was going to die. He asked himself how he might make as much as possible of the interval that remained. So he thought he was going to die soon, so how is he going to make the most of his life? And he was not biased by anything in his previous life when he decided it must be by intellectual excitement, which he found just then in the clear, fresh writings of Voltaire. So he remembers a book he read where a guy was dying and said, how can I enjoy the few months that I have left to live? And he said it should be an intellectual excitement. So you can see he not physical excitement, not murder. So he's trying to kind of tone it back a little bit in this last paragraph. I don't know if it fully worked because in the middle, he unleashes something that he can't. It's like he lets the genie out of the bottle and he can't quite get it back in. He tries. But he's let a dangerous idea into the world. And now he's trying to kind of be like, okay, but intellectual excitement, not, orgy sex or whatever, thing that you might be thinking. But he says intellectual excitement is the thing. He says, well, we are all condemned, as Victor Hugo says. We are all under a sentence of death, but with a sort of infinite reprieve. So if you think that guy was dying, we're all dying. He says we have an interval, and then our place knows us no more, right? We're only here for a very brief time. Some spend this interval in listlessness, meaning doing nothing. Some in high passions, like love. The wisest, at least among the children of this world, in art and song. So this is his big conclusion. He says if nothing makes any sense in the outside world, and nothing makes any sense in the interior world, and the only thing that matters is living for the moment and enjoying these beautiful things, how are we, and if success in life means getting as many beautiful, interesting, exciting ideas into your human space as possible, how are you going to do that? Art and song, literature. I'm going with Shakespeare. You can go with music or movies or whatever you want, but this is Painter's point, is that life is, there's nothing stable. We have to enjoy ourselves. So he wants a specific kind of enjoyment, which is the enjoyment of art. Um, and this is how I got converted into being this kind of person when I was 19 years old. Okay. For our one chance lies in expanding that interval, in getting as many pulsations as possible into the given time, right? You can't live longer, but you can live more intensely. And how do you do that? Art. Great passion may give us a quickened sense of life, the ecstasy and sorrow of love, the various forms of enthusiastic activity, disinterested or otherwise, come naturally to many of us. Only be sure that it is passion, that it does yield you the fruit of a quickened, multiplied consciousness. Right? Make sure that what you're really experiencing, check to make sure if it's really making your consciousness multiply. Of such wisdom, the poetic passion, the desire of beauty, the love of art, for its own sake has most, right? It's not about something, it is that something itself. This was the first time anyone in English said art for art's sake. And this is it right here where he said it. The love of art of such wisdom, the poetic passion, the desire for beauty, the love of art for its own sake has most. For art comes to you proposing frankly to give nothing but the highest quality to your moments as they pass, and simply for those moments' sake. So the thing about art is it doesn't want to give you anything other than beauty and intellectual excitement. And if nothing makes sense outside and nothing makes sense in here, and the only thing that matters is there are these incredible moments that slip away, and the past isn't real, and the future isn't real, and what exists is the moment. How are you going to have the best, the most number of repeated, not repeated, how are you going to have the most number of amazing moments in your life? Following art. And that's how I got converted to this. I read this piece and I was like, holy shit, he's right. Life is short, nothing makes any sense. And so people should spend their time noticing works of art. And when I was 19, I was like, oh shit, there you go. I'm done. This is what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And I have been doing that every single day since then. That's been my whole thing, because I do feel like life out there is chaotic and crazy, and my mind moves and changes, and I don't know, and again, it's also, I feel a bit like Hamlet, everything seems crazy and fucked up, and there's all this insanity in the world, and what are you going to do? So Pater has this idea that you should spend it's carpe diem, seize the day, seize the moment. Um, and for Pater, the best way to seize the moment is by noticing art and really paying attention to art, and that's what this class has been. I try to give you philosophers that would get you to kind of pay attention to art and think about it. So yeah, I think that's we've reached the end of our last reading. I think we are actually finished for the semester. That was Walter Pater. Yeah. Okay, so there will be, this is the final text that we're doing in class. I will be making some conclusion videos, some kind of say goodbye videos, and some wrapping it all up videos for my students. Those will be on the blog, but this is the last one in here. So yeah, Walter Pater. I really think I don't know, I still think about him every day, because every day I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to this audiobook while doing dishes, and then I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to climb the Stairmaster while watching this movie, and then I'm going to go home, and I'm going to read a Shakespeare book, and then I'm going to cook, and I'm going to listen to music, and I'm trying to put as many of those moments, those kind of amazing moments, in front of myself as possible, because life is short and I want to have the experiences he's talking about, these sort of epiphanies, which is essentially what he's arguing for. But epiphany used to be a religious word, but it can also, he uses it in a secular, non-religious way. And that's what I do every single day. That's my life. You see me carrying a book around, you see me with headphones in, that's what I'm doing. And I'm chasing after the most interesting ones. That's why like repetitive movies make me really depressed, because I don't want to watch the same movie over and over and over again. I want to see something unusual. I want to see something strange, and that's how I've ended up. And then I want to find what's the best. And then I want to study that over and over and over again. And I pick Shakespeare and Plato and Kafka and Freud and all the films in my film class, but you can pick whatever you want. But that's what I'm trying to do. And obviously, you don't have to do this. I'm trying to convert you, but this is what converted me. So, all right, we have reached the end of the text and course, and I will see you guys in the goodbye videos that are going up in the next week. Okay, cool.